Coming up on First at 5, drought continues to worsen throughout the state of Florida. I will have your full forecast on the latest.
Plus, a long-term investigation of a 5-figure theft in Levy County comes to a shocking conclusion.
And the newest gathering in a series of protests fights back against controversial changes to UF funding affecting research students.
First at 5, from the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Areas of Florida are currently in extreme drought, and these conditions are expected to get worse before they get better. Welcome to First at 5. I'm Charlize Ramos.
And I'm Juan Chaoui. Though dry conditions are usual this time of year between the winter and the summer, the lack of recent rains is drying out plants and making fuel available for fires.
This is footage of previous burns due to dry conditions in Bradford County, and Marion County is under a burn ban and water restriction for certain neighborhoods. UF meteorologist Maxham expects those conditions to expand to most of North Florida. He says the dryness combined with strong winds could contribute to wildfires.
It's kind of like the air is thirsty, and it just kind of sucks some of that moisture out of the vegetation, and it just gives a lot more available fuel that's going to be easily burned.
To better prepare for these conditions, Maxham recommends keeping up with maintenance on your property, such as clearing dry brush and keeping your lawn mowed.
Taking a look at our drought monitor, we can see portions of Marion County are in some of the most severe drought levels the state is currently facing. Soaking rains will be needed to bring the area out of drought, but the upcoming weather forecast doesn't show much of that being the case. WUFT's Matthew Clark joins us now, and he says rain is looking limited over the next 7 days.
Yeah, this is the drought monitor right now, and a new one gets updated tomorrow. So we are in portions of a severe part for southeast Marion County. Not quite extreme, but I expect these drought conditions to make their way further up to the north, and that's because of the futurecast rainfall totals over the next 7 days. Just 1/10 of an inch is forecasted here in Gainesville, so not even clearly enough rain for the drought conditions to even start to heal. So we're going to be in this pattern for the next couple of days. Our campus cam right now is looking much of the same as it has the past couple of days. It just looks hot out there, 87 degrees, a couple clouds in the sky, some blue skies overhead. It's just another hot day here in Florida, north central Florida as well. 90 in Ocala, 89 in the Villages, 89 over in Live Oak. So we're starting to break the 90s as we head in through the rest of the week. 20% chance of rain as we head into tonight. I'll have more on that coming up in a few minutes, but those temperatures aren't going to drop off too much, and we're going to be waking up in the mid to the upper 60s tomorrow morning.
On the other side of the country, New Jersey business owners are facing the biggest wildfires in 20 years because of a drought. Close to 1,000 buildings and thousands of homeowners are in the flames' path. Ocean County in New Jersey is under a state of emergency from the rapidly growing wildfire. It stands at about 12,000 acres with 35% containment. Neighborhoods were forced to evacuate as the fires took over the communities and roadways, and homeowners are worried about what they could be returning to once the all clear is given.
Pretty scary because, you know, the house, you want to protect your house, but you got to get out.
No injuries have been reported, and officials lifted all evacuation orders, but several businesses in Industrial Park burned. This week's fire alone has already surpassed the yearly average, and the cause is still under investigation.
The UF organization Students Demand Action hosted a vigil earlier today to talk publicly about the tragic shooting that happened less than a week ago at Florida State University. A couple dozen people attended the vigil, during which several from different organizations spoke on their efforts to, quote, make sure this never happens again. Among these people was the president of the Florida chapter of Students Demand Action, Isaiah Sloan. He said this vigil should serve as a message from the students to Florida legislators that enough is enough.
This is a fight that's going to continue on, and we're going to make sure that our voices are heard, make sure that we're going to be organizing across wherever we can, and making sure that our legislators know that events like this are not okay, and there's things that we can do to prevent this, and things that shouldn't be controversial, because our safety really shouldn't be a debate. It should be something that's protected and worked for.
Besides Sloan, Mayor Harvey Ward also had a few comments to share, mainly encouraging people to call their representatives and demand change at the state level.
5 out of 6 of the victims of last week's devastating FSU shooting have left the hospital. According to Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare, alleged shooter Phoenix Eichner is still hospitalized. Officials say it could be, quote, several weeks before he's discharged. The remaining victim is still in the hospital but is in good condition.
A motorcyclist was flown to Columbia County Hospital after losing control of his motorcycle on Southwest Little Road. Troopers say he slid on his bike and crashed right into a nearby stoplight and then into a neighboring construction sign. The Florida Highway Patrol says the driver survived but sustained serious injuries. Nobody else was involved in the accident.
A Levy County man is behind bars after deputies say they found this $40,000 camper on his property. The investigation, however, revealed another crime. Officials say that Sean Wright stole a different trailer back in March. After tracking down that trailer down to his backyard, deputies found that massive camper that was reported stolen not too long ago. They then figured out that he was abusing his domestic partner as well. He is currently in the Levy County Detention Facility with a $55,000 bail.
UF students stand up for science. The nationwide organization has made its way to campus to protest against its recent research funding cuts. Students gathered at the Plaza of the Americas to show opposition towards cuts. Protest organizer Lindsay Potts says internships and other opportunities have been downsized, if not canceled. Potts says she believed that a top 5 research school, UF faculty should be more supportive.
We've had such positive reactions from faculty, from graduate students, and I really, I just wish that more of them would join us and come out because it is a scary time right now.
We previously reported on a protest for the cause in March that had a turnout of over 100 people. The protest today garnered significantly less attention. Potts says she hoped to see more faces in the future.
The Gainesville Citizens for Democracy is hosting a town meeting tonight with Gainesville's congressional representative, Kat Kammick, and organizers say the meeting will still go on even if she doesn't attend. The organization says that the current political state of the country requires them to ask Representative Kammick some questions. If she does not attend, the Q&A will become an open chair discussion with community members who attend. It will take place from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Hartwood Soundstage with live music and drinks before the discussion.
The Marion County School Board unanimously approved the names of 2 of its new elementary schools. The elementary school located in Marion Oaks will officially be named Ross Prairie Elementary, while the one in Winding Oaks will be called Winding Oaks Elementary. The names came from a committee consisting of parents, staff, and community members. Both schools will open with the new names for the upcoming school year.
Bradford High School is hosting a job fair to fill up some open positions throughout the Bradford County school system. The Florida Education Association reports over 3,000 teaching vacancies across the state. But you can take a look at the positions on your screen. The jobs aren't just for teacher openings, but also bus drivers, food service workers, and school counselors. You can visit the career fair tomorrow from 4 to 6 p.m. in the Bradford High School gym.
When we come back, you can hear about how a woman in Costa Rica's business thrived with news tourism.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Being in the Sunshine State, we're no stranger to tourists, but down in Central America, Costa Rica is facing a tourism boom over these last few years.
That's right, Charlize. This has led to some locals opening businesses to help support their families. WUFT's Alex Land spoke to a local in Costa Rica about how these new customers have changed their business.
Bienvenidos. Mi nombre es María, nombre completo, María Luz Jiménez Badilla.
Taking care of land has always been in Maria's blood.
Yo nací en el campo, yo nací en Guanacaste.
She owns a heart of palm plantation in the lush countryside of Sarapiqui, Costa Rica. Maria rooted herself into this land with her husband.
Nosotros somos una familia de agricultores, tengo 40 años que llegamos aquí.
And she built her family on it, having 3 daughters.
A los 17 ya yo estaba embarazada de mi hija mayor de Kenia.
And she's put in the work, hard, physical work. But the hardest part was ahead of her. Maria's husband abandoned her and left her to raise her kids on her own.
Yo vivía aquí en un ranchito, un plástico negro era lo que yo tenía.
Maria's daughter, Kenia, called those days bleak.
Cuando empezamos fue súper difícil porque no había nada de eso existía. Nosotros vivíamos totalmente en la carretera al otro lado y siempre vendíamos a la orilla de la ruta.
But Maria had an idea, to open up a restaurant with her harvest.
Nosotros hacemos, es todo un menú con palmito, entonces desde el ceviche de palmito, patacones, frijoles, después vamos a darles un plato fuerte que es la lasaña de palmito, que todo lo que se hace acá es natural.
And it helped her get back on her feet.
Poquito a poco he ido creciendo el restaurante.
But her husband returned, and with him came a slew of legal battles.
10 años después, ya yo había hecho el restaurante y había que dividir la tierra, entonces yo quedé con 2 y él con 5. Solo con 1 hectárea de palmito, nadie. Es más, ni con 5 hectáreas podría uno sobrevivir.
But the turning point came when she got a new list of customers.
Y así, esa fue mi bendición. Dios me bendijo trayéndome muchos turistas y desde eso cambiamos totalmente nuestras vidas.
Ahora hemos llegado a atender hasta 200 en un día, ver cómo se producen todos esos platillos que ellos van a comer y siempre les gusta, entonces siempre se van muy agradecidos. La piña, el banano, esa es una asociación de mujeres, esa es una familia que hace lo que es el cacao caramelizado.
Maria says tourism has changed her life, allowing her to follow her passion and support her family.
Cada vez que atiendo el turismo, para mí es algo muy bonito y entonces siempre me llena tanto de satisfacción que me encanta.
Alex Land, WUFT News.
Drought conditions are expected to worsen as we head into the weekend. I'll have what you can expect in terms of drier weather after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Speaking of all these droughts, it's been a while since we've seen any rain in our area.
You know what, that's right, Charlize, and hopefully now with UF forecaster Matthew Clark here in the studio with us, you could tell us a bit about just when we're expecting to see this change, finally see some rain.
Yeah, normally they say April showers bring May flowers, but we haven't really even seen any April showers here in Florida. Most of the Midwest has, but not really here in Florida. That drought monitor is going to continue to increase as we head into the weekend. An extreme drought down in South Florida and parts of Southeast Marion County, and a pretty severe drought as well. I expect these drought conditions to move the way up further to the north. And looking back at the past 7 days of rainfall total, I was saying the Midwest has gotten plenty of rain from Texas all the way up through Missouri. Here in Florida, basically no rain from the past 7 days, and these conditions are unfortunately going to continue for Florida, with the rain being concentrated out in the Midwest, and then all the dry conditions are going to remain constant here, with us getting about 1/10 of an inch of rain forecasted for the next 7 days. So it does not look like we're going to be leaving these drought conditions anytime soon. Campus cam right now looks much the same as we have seen this past couple of weeks. Couple upper level clouds, couple lower level clouds, some blue sky and sunshine, and 87 degrees. It is hot out there. It just looks hot out there. Just walking outside, you start to break a sweat within 5 minutes. It feels like summer even though it's spring. These temperatures are pretty much constant. The rest of the area, 90 in Ocala. It's a little bit cooler on the East Coast, 79 in St. Augustine, 79 in Daytona, and then in the lower 80s on the west coast of Florida as well, mainly because of that sea breeze that they're having on over there. For our area here though, as we head into the rest of the night, those temperatures aren't going to drop off too much. If you woke up early the past couple of mornings, it's going to be much of the same as you wake up tomorrow morning for work or going to school. It's going to be in the mid-60s. It's going to be pretty warm and humid out there. Satellite and radar right now, all those storms are confined up to Georgia and Mississippi and Alabama. Some severe storms, which we need some of that rain in our area. And if you noticed on the hour by hour, it's about a 20% chance of rain. Sea breeze boundaries bringing in some convergence to clouds across the I-75 corridor. And later tonight, there could be a tiny pop-up shower, but not nearly enough to wipe out that drought conditions. A tiny sprinkle may water your plants a little bit, but it's going to be much of the same. And as we head into the rest of the week, all that rain is going to stay concentrated up through the southeast and up to the northeast. It's just going to remain clear and sunny down here. It's going to remain dry through Saturday afternoon. Sunshine for your Saturday afternoon. It's going to be quite nice on Saturday. It's also going to be pretty warm. And then Sunday afternoon, about a 30% chance of showers, with most of it concentrated to the east coast of Florida near St. Augustine and the Palm Coast. And then Monday afternoon, look at that, some rain on our forecast for Monday afternoon. Some afternoon thunderstorms could be possible, about a 30% chance of rain on Monday as well. So, but still, not enough rain to wipe out the drought. I expect those drought conditions to continue, but plenty of sunshine across the board for our 7-day forecast.
Gainesville bat populations are facing impacts from the rapidly changing weather conditions, especially now that we're approaching hurricane season. One documentary aims to address this concern. The UF student-produced film Echoes in the Dark discusses how changes in climate can affect the local bat houses, a Gainesville staple. The documentary also highlights another city favorite, Luby Bat Conservancy, and the work the organization does to preserve bat populations. You can catch the documentary tonight at 8 p.m. on WUFT.
And coming up after the break, one local baseball team has swung their way into the playoffs. And Florida baseball with a blowout win last night, extending their win streak. All coming up when we return from the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Hello and welcome back to another Wednesday Sports. I'm Jada Ross. Florida baseball brought it home last night with a 12-1 victory over Georgia Southern. The win was secured in only 7 innings and was the Gators' 3rd straight home victory. Florida's Luke Heyman grabbed a season-high 6 runs. Colby Shelton, Brendan Lawson, and Justin Nadeau also recorded multi-hits last night. Heyman also finished off the night with a grand slam in the final inning. Florida head coach Kevin O'Sullivan says he hopes the win will give them some momentum heading into the weekend series against number 5 Arkansas.
Our record at home, I think, in the midweeks is pretty good. You know, a lot different than it was last year. But, yeah, anytime you could play a 7-inning game in the midweek, it obviously saves your pitching for the weekend. And obviously, we know how important this weekend is for us.
Let's stay on the diamond, but move to high school baseball. Buchholz is set to continue their playoff run later tonight when they host First Coast in the 6A regional quarterfinals. The Bobcats dominated this season, going 26-1 and grabbing a first seed spot in the playoffs. First Coast has the 8th seed with a 17-9 record. First pitch is set for 7 p.m. The winner of this matchup will go on to play in the regional semifinals against the winner of Tate versus Fletcher. Turning to the hardwood, Gators men's basketball has picked up 2 new additions to join the national championship squad next season. One is junior Princeton transfer Xavier Lee. The second addition is incoming freshman CJ Ingram. The 6'6" four-star forward comes from Montverde Academy. Gator fans have taken to social media to welcome the two. While the college basketball transfer portal closed yesterday, these are not the final 2 additions we will see added for next season. The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs has already taken on, and we are going to bring it to the Sunshine State again on Tuesday. The Florida Panthers beginning defense of their Stanley Cup title against Tampa Bay in the latest installment of the Battle of Florida. And it was a big night for the Cats as star Matthew Tkachuk scored twice and added an assist in his return. Tkachuk has been out of the lineup since the Four Nations face-off, but he looked 100% as Florida hammered Tampa Bay 6-2. Nate Schmidt also scored a pair of goals, and Cats goaltender Sergei Bobrovsky made 20 saves. The team will meet again for the best of 7 series in Tampa on Thursday. The men's golf championship is in full swing. Round 1 competition began today and will continue through Friday. Florida finished today in 5th place and 5 under. Ahead of them in 4th place is Oklahoma at 6 under. Texas A&M and LSU 9 under, tied for 2nd. And in 1st place is Auburn, 16 strokes under par. For Florida senior Ian Gilligan, he's leading the Gators, tied for 5th, shooting 66. Sophomore Jack Turner is shooting not far behind at 69, but is tied for 21st place. Luke Poulter and Matthew Kress both with 70 and tied for 30. And holding up the back is freshman Zach Swanwick, finished today with 71 and tied for 40. The Gators have a combined total of 275 right now. And to wrap up, Florida softball will host USF shortly after this at 6 p.m. Gator Taylor Shoemaker was also named SEC Freshman of the Week yesterday. We'll take one last look at the weather after the break.
I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but drought conditions are going to continue throughout next week, and so are those above average temperatures. About a 30% chance of rain on Sunday and Monday for afternoon thunderstorms. But summertime has come early and has kind of canceled spring.
Thanks, Matthew. And now I'd like to take a second to congratulate my co-anchor and friend Charlize Ramos, who is about to graduate from the University of Florida, and sadly say goodbye to the WUFT family.
Thank you, JC. Honestly, this is a really bittersweet moment for me. I'm just thankful of how much I've been able to grow and learn at WFT the past 2 years. It wouldn't have been without my mentors, all my friends, and the entire staff at WFT. Thank you especially to my producer, Victor, and director, Daniel. I'm going to forever miss sharing this desk on Wednesday, but I'm very excited for the next chapter. So thank you for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of WFT.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.